Speaking of which, here's another case where both sides were not examined. And surprise, surprise, the side not examined was the Republican side. The New York Times today reported that, quote, Nixon tried to spoil Johnson's Vietnam peace talks in '68, end quote. From this headline, seems like the story is pretty clear. Nixon wanted to win the election, so he tried to prevent an awesome peace deal that would save hundreds of thousands of lives. But if you read carefully down to the buried later paragraphs of the article, you can make out another side to the story. Johnson wanted to make a peace deal because he thought doing so would help his VP, Hubert Humphrey, win the election over Nixon. But Nixon was worried that Johnson was so eager to make a peace deal to help Humphrey that he had reasons to be against it. One of Johnson's own aides, by the way, expressed this concern as well. So really, what we don't have here is the situation the headline suggested, that Nixon was simply selfishly trying to help himself by sabotaging a good peace deal. The actual situation is muddier than that, and Nixon probably had a good reason for opposing the peace deal. But that wouldn't make for such a good headline in a leftist paper like the New York Times, would it? So remember, next time you read anything from the New York Times, and we certainly don't advocate that you do so, imagine it comes with a giant warning label. Reading stories from this publication can be hazardous to the truth. And other Trump news from today. Some inauguration RSVPs. Former President George W. Bush will be coming. So will former President and serial sexual predator Bill Clinton. And with that, I add that Trump will be in a pretty strong position to strongly suggest prosecution of Hillary Clinton. You remember the lock her up chants, many of which you heard here on RSBN during our live coverage with our own cameras of the various Trump rallies before the election and after the election.